For Bruce-Grey-Owen sound.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. Look, the member brought up the issue about planting trees, so I'd just like him to clarify here to the House and to Canada, out of the $2 billion tree program that the Liberals have promised, how many trees have been planted out of those $2 billion? And then specifically, my riding, I've been trying to get anybody or any organization to qualify for this bureaucratic, red tape-filled process. I've gone to my municipalities, we've tried to band together with local conservation groups, and the feedback I've got from both my counties when they've reached out to the Liberal government is that they can't qualify. They don't meet the requirements, and so here we are. I live in a rural area that we're willing to plant all sorts of trees to help deal with this ability to reduce carbon emissions in this country, and yet the program seems to be failing. Can the member provide some clarity? Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Two quick points, Madam Speaker. First, it's important. The member makes reference to an election platform issue. Isn't it somewhat ironic that he's making reference to an election platform issue when the election platform issue of the Conservative Party was to support a price on pollution? You know, I think that if we look up the word of hypocrisy in Webster's, we might want to incorporate this as an excellent example, Madam Speaker. The second point that I would make is that, remember, when all trees start from a seed, and you can't just kind of wish a tree to be 6 feet tall.
L'honorable député de Longueuil-Saint-Hubert.
Madam Speaker, look, I'll ask this Parliamentary Secretary the exact same question I asked the Parliamentary Secretary sitting beside him just a little bit while ago in the debate that he did not answer. How many trees have been planted by the Liberal government under their promised $2 billion tree program that they've introduced? And as well, once we get that number, could he explain why the program is so bureaucratic and difficult for communities, ridings, counties, conservation groups to even apply and qualify for it? Because this program, you know, I actually think it's a good idea. We should be planting more trees right across this great country we have, but we can't seem to, nobody can seem to qualify for this program, and the trees aren't getting planted. My final comment, Madam Speaker, is he may want to tell the Minister of Public Safety of his role and position. The Minister of Public Safety yesterday in the Senate didn't even know his position existed here in the House of Commons.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
I'll start with the latter and come to the beginning. Actually, the Minister of Public Safety was responding to Mr. Plett's, Senator Plett's comment about me being a Parliamentary Secretary to the Leader in the Senate, of which I am not. I am the Parliamentary Secretary to the Leader of the House, Leader in the House for the Liberal, for the government. So that's to correct the first error that he made. Second, I'll answer his question the exact same way that my Parliamentary Secretary colleague did, which was he started off by saying, and I was here, I heard the whole thing, he found it very hypocritical that the member would challenge us on a platform commitment that we have only partially delivered on, given the fact that this member ran on putting a price on pollution and is somehow just oblivious to that fact now and doesn't think that it's necessary to answer for that while he makes these demands. That's hypocritical. But to the other point, and what my Parliamentary Secretary colleague said specifically was, does he not realize that to plant that many trees, you're not going to do it all, and it's not a linear graph, it's going to happen exponentially. Does the member realize that to create that many trees, you start with a seedling, and the seedling has to be properly germinate and turn into a tree and get to the point where you can actually plant it? I can't believe I'm actually having this high school science discussion with the member, but it's the reality of how trees grow.
Questions and comments. Question